It's been noted that a couple of my recent videos have not involved a bike. It's time to put that right. So today is back to basics. Me, a bike and a journey. Yep, a bikecumentary. Normally when I film these it's just me, an action cam and sometimes my drone. This time I've got my son Ross with me. He works in the film industry and they don't travel light. And neither do we. We've got a travel and relaxation vehicle for the cast and crew and transportation for the bike and filmmaking equipment. Okay, basically it's everything crammed into a battered Honda Civic. Today we're exploring the old Andover to Southampton Canal. It got a brief mention when we looked at Southampton's pain in the arse canal tunnel. This time we're taking a proper look and the journey starts here at what used to be Andover Town Railway Station. How the canal came into being was fear of missing out. Canals became the way goods were shifted around in the 1700s, and by the end of the century we had a network of over 4,000 miles. Neighbouring Basingstoke had a canal connecting it to the Thames Canal network and trade was thriving, whilst in Andover trade was declining and people felt a rival canal was the answer. The Andover to Southampton Canal was opened in 1794. It had wharfs at major stops along the way and 24 locks. However, when the railway boom started in the early 1800s, canals became uncompetitive. Bankrupt canals were often snapped up on the cheap by railway companies who filled them in and plonked railway lines on top. The Andover Canal was one of many to suffer this fate. The canal and railway didn't follow the exact same path. Today's challenge is to stick as close as I can get to the route on a bike and point out the bits of both enterprises that remain.
Rolling.
Okay, so we finally got on our way. We had a lot of faffing about because of the camera setup and what have you, but to our right is the Andover Canal. Morning. Hi. I assume we're going the right way. Well, we've looked at the station, so let's look at a lock, or at least where one used to be. Where that bungalow is where Pill Hill Lock used to be. The canal went right through it. Wonder if they've got wet foundations. So we're in the Clapfords now. Just opposite these houses, to my left, is what used to be King's Lock. We're not stopping though, we can't see much canal stuff. The first section takes us from the old Andover town station through the burbs of Andover to the A303, past Pill Hill and King's Locks and through the Clapfords to where Clapford station was. Okay, we're just going to make a quick stop. Clapford station, or what used to be. Now behind the fence is the railway line stroke canal. It seems an odd spot to put a station and before that a wharf. But in the 1800s, taskers of Andover made steam engines, road rollers, agricultural machinery and general ironworks at the Waterloo Foundry in Anna Valley. They needed vast quantities of iron ore and coal, which were shipped up to their private wharf from Southampton. Where the foundry was is now housing, but some of the history is remembered in the road names of Taskers Drive and Foundry Road.
Turn left.
Yes dear. So our first bit of off-road. Hopefully we can get through it. The canal was somewhere to my left. Don't think we can go through there. That's a pain in the whatsits. From Clapford station I follow the road with the canal stroke railway to my right. Where I come to a halt, the other path continues towards Hardyman's Lock, where the canal took a leisurely bend following the river and the railway took a shortcut. Right, shut up. What SatNav's trying to say is we're north of Fullerton and we're now back on the canal stroke railway line. We're looking out for remnants of Fullerton station. Fullerton Junction was in the middle of several villages, so not too convenient for passengers. The line from there wended its merry way to Hurstbourne, where it joined the main line from Andover towards London. So sometime after I did the bike ride, we're trying to sort of pick up a few things of interest. So this is Fullerton, and we think that's possibly Fullerton Station or part of it.
I'm not 100% sure that is the platform, but it certainly looks like it could have been.
I think this might be it, you know. We found station platform. This is a line that sort of head eastwards, and it's chucking it down with rain. Is there anything over there, Ross?
It looks like the platform continues for a little while, but obviously we can't get through it without going back up, I don't think.
Well, it's sort of there. You can see bits of concrete.
Yeah.
Give us a hand up, Mush. Cheers. So what we've got here.
Well, this is the end of this end of the platform anyway.
So what we think it then is at this point, you've got that line going up. That's the line to Andover, and that's the line to the other place. Well, I must admit, I knew there wasn't much to it, but there really is nothing. I think we've seen all we can see. You reckon?
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot left.
So we spent some time putting together a plan of the station using an old Ordnance Survey map and a signal box layout from 1910. Then we located the remnants we found on our plan. The first bit we came across that looked like a station platform is part of the sidings and is labelled the dock on the signal box layout plan. The bit of old platform and trackbed we discovered buried under the trees is a small part of the line that went to Hurstbourne. The main platform was a big Y shape, with the left line going to Andover and the right going to Hurstbourne. When we upscaled this picture, we noticed a washing line, and that got us wondering if the soot from the trains made the washing dirtier than when it was hung out.
This bridge section crosses the River Test on the approach to the station. Ah, Spaniel. We know what they're like. Looks like a road. Testway. That's us, Testway. So this is all canal and railway line now for a good while. Swallowed a bug.
Morning.
Morning. Thank you very much. Somewhere around here is Kitecombe Lock. Apparently Leckford's to my left, and this is Leckford Lock. This is what used to be known as White Ship Lock, and the bridge over here is now called Whiteshape. At some point the cartographers changed the name. The section from Fullerton to Stockbridge runs next to the A3057, passing Kitecombe, Leckford and Whiteship locks, ending at where Stockbridge Lock and station were. Stockbridge Station was one of the grander stations on the line. It was built right on top of where Stockbridge Lock used to be. After the line closed, the station was demolished in 1971 and there's no trace of it today. Okay, so we're back on the old railway line and canal. Whoa. Well, I've got to say that a road bike is much lighter than a mountain bike, but for this, maybe it's the wrong choice. So just about here, the railway line and the canal go different directions. The canal turns slightly to the left, the railway goes straight ahead, and there's some more old infrastructure there. What's this? A bit hilly by the looks of it. Oh,
Turn left onto Horsebridge Road.
looks like it's a mill to me. But that's not where the canal went. Horsebridge Mill. There you go. Basically, that is the route of the canal according to the Ordnance Survey map, and the canal went right through those bushes. But we can't do much with the canal now, so let's go have a look at Horsebridge Station. From Stockbridge, the path cuts across country, past Marsh Court and Chalkhill locks and into Horsebridge. Just before Horsebridge, the paths diverge. The railway powered straight ahead, but the canal meandered a bit. The sidings were built on part of the canal route. The village of Horsebridge is tiny, a mill, a pub and a few houses, so the station was probably built to service the mill. Queen Victoria went through the station on a regular basis. She felt that the Spratt and Winkle line was a pretty line, so used it on her way to Southampton to visit Osborne House.
During World War I, the station was a hub for transporting soldiers, munitions and horses from Salisbury Plain to Southampton and then to France. When the line closed, the station soon became derelict. In 1985, when Hampshire County Council decided to make the old line into a public footpath, the station was purchased by the lady who still lives there and her husband. It was lovingly restored and is now Grade 2 listed.
So we're at Horsebridge Station. It's actually a private house, and the lady who owns this place has kindly allowed me to come in and do some filming. She used to do weddings, but now it's just simply a private house. A quick walk around the side, then a quick drone and be off to Mottisfont.
Planning permission to restore the station was granted on condition that a swimming pool could never be built in the space between the platforms. Where that came from, who knows?
What's going on here then? Some sort of bridge. So this is the point where the Spratt and Winkle line parts. Quiet. This is the point where the Spratt and Winkle line goes to my right, and we now go to the left on the canal. Have you been waiting long?
So yeah,
Have you been waiting long?
I went down the road to
Underneath this car park is Clapgate Lock, and it's also the point where the canal and Spratt and Winkle line temporarily go in different directions. The railway went to Kimbridge Junction, where it joined the existing Eastleigh to Salisbury line, then headed south at Romsey to join the Castle and Corkscrew at Redbridge. The canal also had a junction at Mottisfont. The Southampton to Salisbury Canal was built to connect the two cities using a chunk of the existing Andover Canal.
Okay, so all the excitement of trying to get some shots from the back of the car, we missed this place. The old station at Mottisfont. The railway line was just the other side. It ran right through their conservatory. So at this point, Ross is in the pub having a sandwich. To my right is the canal, and I'm going to turn the camera off. There's no real point in filming an A road.
From the car park, the canal runs west of Timsbury over private land. I cycled along the main road while Ross had a leisurely pub lunch. South of Timsbury, the canal route crossed the A3057. The plan was to go off-road and follow the canal into Romsey, but
The canal is actually down there going towards Romsey, but it says footpath, and I'm not sure I can take the bike down there. So I think I'm going to sort of ride down the road to see if I can rejoin it later. So, different day, different bike, different tasteless Lycra outfit. I'm not very good at this continuity lark, am I? But I've got the same getaway driver. There we go. More canal for you. So I got to Timsbury, found out all my devices had run out of battery. So I thought to myself, I've got a smart charge brick. Let's use that. Trouble is though, you've got a smart charging brick and a very, very, very dumb user. So nothing charged. So here's where we got to last week. Now I tried doing some filming on the phone, but it wasn't a lot of cop. So we're just coming into Romsey town centre now.
the canal towpath might be walkable from Timsbury, but you'd have to be pretty determined to try. I rejoined it a bit lower down on my trusty mountain bike for the ride into Romsey.
Okay, so we're in the centre of Romsey, and that's the plaza. Lovely old Art Deco building. The actual canal goes down the left hand side of it, through the car park, through a sluice gate, and it joins up with the bit we've just been on. To the left of this wall is where Romsey Wharf was. Obviously no sign of it anymore. So we've got the A27 to my right, and that's basically the route of the canal. Over the brick wall to my right is Broadlands. That's Lord Mountbatten's estate. The old Elizabethan house, that's actually built on top of Ashfield Lock, and it's one of the lodge houses to Broadlands. So we're riding along Lee Lane. Just about where those trees are is the start of a section of the canal. Looks a bit muddy to me. Maybe it gets full in the winter. It's a bit of canal and it fizzles out. Onwards and upwards. This is the current Southampton to Romsey line. So this bridge over the railway, not far from the M27, is where the canal joins up with the railway line.
From Romsey, the canal skirted the edge of what's now the Broadlands estate, down Lee Lane, crossing Cold Harbour Lane and back to being buried under railway tracks at Grove Place Lock.
And the bridge we're just about to go under, that's the M27.
After the M27 and Tesco's distribution centre is past Barber's Lock, what used to be Nursling Station and Nutshalling Lock. Then it's along the towpath and back to the railway line.
To my left is Nutshalling Lock. Nutshalling is the old name for what's now Nursling. Now it says follow towpath. Guess that's going to be entertaining. Stop and have a look at this a second actually. So that's the towpath and that's the canal, which is looking just a little bit stagnant. So we've got barbed wire, brambles, stinging nettles and puddles, and a sliding rear end. Ooh, misses. Why is it that brambles and stingies are always together? To the left of these bushes here is a railway line. This is the point where the canal and the railway join up again. Come on in. They're not all ripe yet, are they?
No.
Nice spot though. That's crossed the canal. It's not the route I planned, but there would have been a towpath this side as well, probably. To my left is Nursling Industrial Estate. To my right is the railway and where the canal used to be. Yeah, I was going to go the other side of the railway line. Too many brambles, too many stinging nettles. So the railway line on the other side of the road is the precise route for the Andover to Southampton Canal. This roundabout here was the point where the Southampton to Salisbury Canal joined it. Ugh. Now opposite this pub I'm looking for something. So we've got the Anchor, and somebody pointed out to me that there's a wall opposite it. Now I did some research to find what that is. What it is, it's the remaining part of the Redbridge Wharf.
The canal and railway follow the same line for the last section, past the junction of the Southampton to Salisbury Canal, through Redbridge Tidal Lock to Redbridge Wharf.
And there's the getaway driver. Don't know where the car is though.
Hello, stranger.
Boo. So this is Redbridge Wharf Park and the end of the line. And that's meant to signify it's a wharf. That's the River Test, and the canal to Andover is that direction.
So where did it all go wrong? In the canal's case, boats carried heavy goods on the way up and agricultural products on the way back. Very often, the boats couldn't get a cargo for the return journey. Traffic never reached the original estimates, and once the railway started taking over, what traffic there was disappeared without trace. During its 65 years of operating, the shareholders only got a dividend once, when it was sold off cheap to the railway company in 1859. The railway wasn't a gold mine either. The branch line from Fullerton to Hurstbourne only saw light traffic and was downgraded to a single track in 1913, became freight only in 1931 and closed for good in 1956. The Spratt and Winkle line shut in 1967 as part of the Beeching cuts. Today, there's still some reminders of the past. Testway from Fullerton to Mottisfont is a long section of disused railway that's easily walked, but if you're planning to cycle it, a road bike is the wrong choice. And there's the towpath between Cuppenham Lane and the plaza at Romsey.
Currently, I'm training for the 2024 London to Brighton British Heart Foundation bike race, and I put up some films following my training, but Ross and I will return to scrabbling around old stuff later on. When I say training, I do of course mean dusting the bike off on a sunny day for a pootle around the neighbourhood. London to Brighton is 54 miles, I'm 63 and not very fit, so it's going to be interesting. Other films on this channel include a look at the canal tunnel right under Southampton city centre that most people don't know existed, plus a look at the infamous 1960s railway axe and why Dr. Beeching's not the evil baddie he's portrayed as. If you've enjoyed this film, or you're hoping I'll do something more interesting next time, please click the subscribe button. I'm also on Facebook, and one of these days I'll try and work out what I'm supposed to do with Twitter/X/ whatever it's called this week. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.